In Wintgerfell, finally, after a long journey, former King Brandon, now known as Lord Brandon, finally makes his way into Wintgerfell. The appointed assisting knight from House Baratheon, in somewhat of an excited way, decides to make his presence known. Excuse me, Your Grace. I believe we have a special guest of honor, unlike we would have ever thought would have arrived. Well, who is it? I believe it is your brother, uh, King Brandon. Well, don't just stand there. Show him in. Yes, Your Grace. So he bows and goes back outside. In comes Lady Brienne, escorted with the assisting knight of House Baratheon, and others who assist former King Brandon into the throne room of Queen Sansa, Queen of the North, along with King Johnston and his wife, Queen Miri. Well, I would have never expected to see you here, Brandon, King of the Realm. Actually, that has changed. Really? And how do you mean? It's not every day that I haven't gotten a chance to see my young brother. I am no longer king. And how can this be? Well, while I could have put up a fight, I decided I do not want the blood of many on my hands. So, I came to an agreement, and agreement was struck. I surrendered a crown, though I never chose to wear one myself, and so I am now Lord Brandon. And who, may I ask, has gotten this crown? It would appear that one who we thought Jon Snow, or Aegon the Seventh, had slain is back living among us. Queen Daenerys. Okay, my dear brother, I know that you loved telling jokes in the past, but certainly you must jest. No, Your Grace, I believe you should know me by now, that as a three-eyed raven, I have nothing to jest about. Well, I can vouch for that, said Lady Brienne, as she kind of takes a comfortable stance. So you just give the crown to one who was dead, and now she's alive, and how can this be? Apparently, someone felt she left before her time, and she has been risen from the dead. But she was not the only one. Apparently some meddling phrase woke something else, something much far, far darker and most evil. Well, that wouldn't surprise me, considering we are talking House Frey. So you just give the crown over to Queen Daenerys, and are we supposed to now face, once again, the act that she tried before on the Realm of the Kingdoms? No, apparently, though I didn't think they existed, there is one old ancient temple that still exists. She had admitted, well, first she admitted her sins, as she calls it, confessed, and taken a renewal of reconciliation, and drank some holy waters of reclamation. And she has spoken words of wisdom, although I find this very peculiar, that one does not repeat their mistakes and learns from the past. I sense no treachery in this. Oh, that's just great. And I suppose she's going to still expect me to bend the knee, as she did before. Well, I will not. I am the Queen of the North, and I told her before Jon Snow had killed her the first time. I will not bend the knee. Yes, I can see that. That may or may not be a problem, but they have bigger problems to worry about. However, he stops and thinks for a moment. Something else, even worse than this dark entity woken from the dead, has also emerged. But there may be a short confrontation, and I don't see it going through. I think that the war that was started because of a meddling Frey sticking their hand and nose into something that should have been well left alone is soon to come to an end. Well, it's about time. In the meantime, I promised to escort your brother here to safety. Well, I do appreciate it, Lady Brienne. And what will you do now that he has, by this struck agreement, I imagine of peace, with Daenerys? What will you do? Well, I'm still sworn by my duty as a knight of the King's Guard. I have no knowledge of what her intentions will be towards me, but I will make my presence known and she can decide for herself. I don't think she would be one to act treacherously, as her father, King Aerys II, once did. Well, I hope not. If, by any chance, she does not want me to be in command of the King's Guard, then I will find a new occupation. I just haven't decided what that is yet. And she looks over at King Johnston. And a pleasant pleasure to see you once again. As you, Your Grace, me and my wife decided to take our leave. And since there is nothing more for us to do in servitude of your brother, now known as Lord Stark, I do have a kingdom to run myself. You do remember the promise I had you make. Yes, Lord Stark, I do remember. I don't think this is going to go peacefully after 5 years. Something else will emerge, and not from the same lineage as old King Robert I Baratheon, but from another lineage. As to when they will arrive, well, that is yet to be seen, but it will not happen for at least 5 years, perhaps a fortnight or two. I understand. And he looks towards back at Queen Sansa. While I do hate to rush off, my duties and service to your brother have now concluded, and until such time that my promise to Lord Stark, if such a stranger emerges after 5 years, to try to take this new Iron Throne of Swords by force, I will be returning to my kingdom. As always, it is a pleasure to see you, and still in Reign of the North. Thank you, King Johnston. You are most welcome, and you are most kind. I wish you and Queen Mary all the best. So they both bow and take their leave. Well then, we have much to discuss, dear brother, Lord Stark. Yes, and so I believe we'll have to start from the beginning. And so with that ends the scene. As Queen Daenerys then gets ready to take a landing, Drogon and its mate flies off towards the north. Queen Daenerys then makes her landing, as does the other 2 dragons. The fishwife and the bodyguard to Lord Edric Baratheon, then bowing before Queen Daenerys, make their approach to figure out what's going to happen next now that this other entity, the god of the 7 hells, has arrived. We should not make any sudden move. Do you understand? Yes, I would agree. Then what are we supposed to do? For right now, do like you would right as if he were not here. Prepare to take care of the wounded. Send word to Queen Marjorie and Queen Arianne Martell. Those who are not able to travel should be cared for immediately. In the meantime, we will have to see if this prejudgment is going to come about swiftly. I would imagine that if such a prejudgment is going to come, that since we did not do anything in offense to this God of the Seven Hells, then judgment should be passed on us swiftly, and everything will be all over. We will most likely see sudden darkness, and for those of us who lived a good life, we should be finding ourselves in the land of paradise of the spirit world of the Valerian Heavens. Understood, Your Grace. So with that, the fishwife and the bodyguard to Lord Edric Baratheon go off to take care of the wounded and look for the body of Lord Edric Baratheon, since he was only spotted hitting a boulder just before the battle came to a sudden stop. In the meantime, then, Daenerys removes her helmet and looks towards this God of the Seven Hells to see what is going to transpire next. As the God of the Seven Hells that had called upon his dark forces to take Valdarr and all of the remaining of his legion down to the Seven Hells through the gated path that had opened up suddenly. He then starts looking about, ready to collect the rest. Well, time to go. It's over for you as well. You think so? Perhaps we should challenge that theory. What? Who said that? You should know very well. You were already summoned to claim that which had failed you, and that summoning is now over. Unless you would like me and the fire goddess to come down with our legions, would you like to engage into our long-awaited Armageddon of war? What? You let us come forth and find out. I think we will greatly outnumber your legions. Then, as a shaft of light shoots down from the sky, the only thing that he sees is many helmets, some in white, some in black, led by two goddesses, who are ready to come down a stairwell of light. Then he holds up his left hand. Wait! You know I'm not ready for our Battle of Armageddon. Then you must retreat back to that which you came. Very well. But know this. And he turns and points his sickle staff at the rest of them. I have waited for eons upon eons, millennia upon millennia, and centuries upon centuries. And as I have waited then, I can wait a little longer. What manner of men of this known world can resist doing evil? They will get temptations. They will summon me thinking that they will serve me, and thus I will possess their soul. And then, what manner of men will not try to lay with another man like a woman, such a sinful thing to do? Their souls will burn in the seven hells with me. No one can resist. They didn't before. They will not again. Careful now. You wouldn't want to lose your voice. After all, you're not in the seven hells with your burning brimstone. Yes, I know. I hate the smell of flowers. and good sweet-smelling scents. However, there's plenty of souls I can contend with now, and Valdarr is mine. But wait, and he thinks for a moment, putting his right hand to his chin. There's 3 that are missing. 2 were here, but are gone. The 3rd has not yet been caught yet. However, I'm pretty certain Lord Valdarr in the 7 Hells is going to want the 3rd one, known as the Last Rat. While he has failed, I will grant him that last request. So what of the other 2? I did not get them all. Well, if you feel that there is something or someone missing, you will just have to wait. Like the rest here will have to go through their trials and their tribulations. And if they fail, then come Judgment Day, then you can stake your claim. But those 2, I've said enough. You have finished here. If they are repenting, they are not yours to claim anymore. Are we not clear? Fine. But the 3rd one is already marked. So shall it be. I will wait for you all. You will fail. You will do evil. You will rape women, pillage the villages, steal and backstab each other in time. Men will lay with men and women with women, and all your souls will burn in the 7 Hells when I come to claim you on that Judgment Day, be it now or 100 millennia from now. What man can resist doing evil and such sinful, filthy abominations? With both arms raised in the air just as he arrived, he throws them down suddenly, and a white, blinding curtain of light explodes, shaking the ground. And the crack in the earth that showed flame and such horrid smells of decay, blood, burning flesh suddenly cease, and the skies start to go clear. The only thing that remains then is a long trench-like dent where the earth had once been open, and thus his attempt for a prejudgment has been foiled. Now that everything has returned to normal, such it is, with except the one soon to be covered in grass, if not covered already, sunken part of the earth where the gates of the 7 Hells had once been open, Daenerys looks about and sees a woman, very tall, with red hair, standing somewhere in the middle of all the other fallen comrades' bodies. She slowly walks towards her, and Lilith then looks towards her direction. Who are you? Have we met? No, we have not. But I know much about you, for your history was destined that you should rule. And how is it that you would know this? Because my age goes way beyond the time of your fathers and your grandfathers and your founding forefathers. But I had made a mistake, much like you. I chose the wrong path. For a while, I was in the 7 Hells, the gatekeeper. But then I was recalled and given a chance for redemption. I was your nephew, Prince Aegon the 6th Targaryen's guardian. But sadly, I have failed. Is that so? And then Daenerys kind of looks shocked. Here's another tall woman, one in white, one in black. If you say that you have failed, then you have. And in which case then, You have not redeemed yourself. Perhaps, Lilith, you need to look at it from a different perspective. Then she looks towards Daenerys, and gently, with her hand outstretched, grabs Daenerys by the face and chin gently in a, friendly manner, and then lowers her hand. You see, Lilith, you had a destiny to destroy that which was awakened by the meddling phrase, one who is still marked, and his destiny, unfortunately, I cannot foresee. It is something that I cannot interfere with, for he made his choice the day he awoken that which should have never been disturbed. However, this here is the re-risen warrior queen, Queen Daenerys, the nephew, who was but a babe long ago and swapped out by Lord Varys, the spider from so long ago. Yes, Daenerys, I know you do not like him or his name, but he had a destiny, and while his treachery to you was not part of that, he got his own demise by doing that in the end. But you did get to meet your nephew, did you not? Yes, but I didn't get a chance to know my nephew. That is okay. Where he goes, there will be no more suffering. He has earned his place in the spirit world of the Valerian Heavens, as is his best friend, which I presume, and she looks over towards Lord Gendry's location, he shall soon find. In any case, I would imagine, then, Lilith, he had to make a choice. You had no control of that, no more than Prince Aegon the Sixth would have had a choice in what you should do towards Valdarr, who had already sown the seeds of his misgivings even when awakened. But I don't understand. You have fulfilled and redeemed yourself, Lilith. Your time now here is finished. This is a time where all Valerian men and women must rule themselves. It is also a time, as she looks towards the many-faced god, where you, Jehalkin, must rejoin with that which you have been long since separated from, for she awaits you in the spirit world, the Valerian Heaven of Paradise. I am to see Naturna. Yes, you are. Then she points up at the sky, and Naturna then comes down. Long have I waited to see you, a man who we should have been joined together as husband and wife for so long, long, long ago. They then hug each other and kiss. But I have one task left. I understand that this is a time where Valerian men and women must rule themselves. There is one who is worthy enough to take over the House of Black and White. I sense she will be arriving here soon. And Lilith here said she needs someone trustworthy enough to make sure that the staff of the abyss and the spear of judgment does not fall in the wrong hands, for such power can also be used for evil. That is true. Well then, my task here is done. I shall be walking about for a while, and counting with tabulation of those who will be joining us in the spirit world, for they have sacrificed much to make sure all men and women of this world shall be free yet again. So then she walks on. And you are. I am the goddess of fire. Unlike Lilith, I am much like the goddess of ice. Men who should be judged before entering the spirit world have to stand before me. But I hereby decree that because of this day, no judgment shall be passed, for all have given their lives, and thus it is done. I shall return now. So she then just kind of floats in the air and disappears. You have a task, Lilith, I think. Aegon here needs to be cleaned and prepped for a proper ceremony. Yes, I will see to it that he is taken to House Blackfyre, or as it used to be called, and upon being cleaned up, he had a wish that I am to relay to you. A wish. His last words were that he regrets that he has no time to spend to know you better, but he believes you should rule well, for you have a second chance in life now. And he wishes that his best friend Edric Baratheon, whom he grew up with, should he be found, be placed with him. I know no Targaryen has ever allowed a Baratheon in the crypts of the Red Keep, but I'm certain you will make an exception since they were the best of friends. I will respect my nephew's last wishes then. Then Lilith kind of smiles. One thing, your nephew does seem to have a bit of a humorous arrogance and sense of humor. Perhaps yet if you read the notes that he had passed on to your palace visionary, you might find some humor in them. Just before he took his last breath, Aegon and him, not being far from each other, managed to holler out at each other, and Prince Aegon VI told Edric Baratheon, formerly known as Storm, that he was a lucky bastard, beating him up to the spirit world. Daenerys just kind of smiles and shakes her head, not sure how to interpret that. But then again, I guess you would have had to ride with him to know his sense of humor. I have enjoyed his company much, and though he be strange, I have blessed him with a secret that normally goddesses don't do, and I will just simply say that he enjoyed my blessing farewell kiss, and that is all I shall say about that. Daenerys raises his eyebrow. Really? I thought that was, yes, forbidden. That is why I can trust you will not speak of it to anyone. No, I guess I shall not. I just wonder how his wife is going to handle the fact of his passing. I will be bringing the news to her soon, but then I must go. Dear brother, please do not keep us long and waiting. Me and Naturna will be waiting for you. I understand you have your task, and I'm sure you will explain to Arya when she arrives what needs to be done. I will see to it that it is understood and that it will be done. So with that, Lilith goes into what looks like a cave opening. A white light opens up, and Naturna then looks before she goes in. I'll be waiting for you. Don't keep me waiting too long. And then she goes inside, and the white light disappears, and the cave is empty. Well then, I guess we have lots to do. Collect our dead. Those that are seriously injured need to be cared for. I'll make the arrangements with Queen Marjorie and Ariana. I, in turn, must return to Dragonstone to make sure that the preparations for the burial ceremonies are prepared. Very good, then. I shall see you, perhaps, in another life. But hopefully not too soon. No, being dead once was enough for me. So then she turns and leaves. In King's Landing, at the Red Keep, Sam Tarly, the Maester, and his wife Gilly, with her son, of whom Sam adopted, and their own child that they've had between them, are about ready to depart for the direction of the Wall, best known as the Castle Black of the Men of the Night's Watch. Well, I guess we got everything ready. Are you ready? Yes, Sam. I hate saying this, but in a way I feel I'm going to miss this place. You are. I don't know why. This place gives me, I don't know, it's been kind of creepy lately. But the Brothers of the Night's Watch need a maester, and I just don't see how I can be of any service to a queen that Jon Snow, or Prince Aegon VII, as he's now known as, had killed to keep her from doing her arbitrary acts of liberation. And, well, Jon Snow's there, so I would imagine most of my friends that weren't killed off in the White Walker War. But you have been accepted before. I'm sure Lord Commander Snow, Aegon, however he is to be addressed, will make sure that no harm comes to us. Yes, I suppose you are right. Well, it will be interesting going back to that. I imagine it's going to be old and drabby as before. Well, I hear it has had some serious renovations made, of which I've yet to see. It may be quite the splendor as, well, what the Red Keep may be once the new Iron Throne of Swords is installed. I suppose you're right. So with one final look at the meeting room, they start heading out. Leaving so soon? Lord Targaryen, yeah, there's pretty much nothing else for us to do here, and since the Brothers of the Night which need a maester, I figured now would be a good time to take my leave before Queen Daenerys. Yeah, before she arrives. I can't be of any service to her. I don't see why or how. Yeah, well, maybe it's for the best. In any case, I'm sure she'll have her own committee formed anyway. Usually that's how Targaryens always work. Well, as much as I hate to say you go, Maester Sam, it has, even for a bit short time, my pleasure in knowing you. I hope maybe one day our paths will cross again, or perhaps maybe I'll even, if I should be up in your, as we would say, neck of the woods, or is that neck of the snow? Well, however it works. Yes, well, I might stop by and visit you sometime. Well, best of luck, you two. Maybe one of these days I'll get a chance to go up there again. I hear the wall's remade, and it hasn't been commemorated lately. Commemorated? Yeah, well, the first time I went up there, I pissed off the edge of the wall, like pissing off the edge of the world. I suppose any good wall being remade needs to be commemorated by a dwarf such as myself. So I haven't pissed off the wall lately. Maybe it's a good time to do it again. Oh, well, I guess I don't want to see that, but I guess should you find your way up there, you're more than welcome up there. Yes, well, I shall see you later. Take care, Gilly, and take care of the little ones there. We will see each other again soon, I'm certain. So with that, Sam and Gilly continue on their way as Tyrion and Tristan are going in the opposite direction towards the meeting room. Well, good thing I caught you before you're heading out. I hear you're leaving us. Yes, well, there's no reason for me to be here. I can't really serve her, and At least not that I can think of. And besides, there hasn't been a maester for the Brothers of the Night's Watch for the longest time. Yes, well, I suppose if you want to take the black and follow in the famous Maester Aemon, then you've chosen wisely. I thought maybe you would like to follow me and King Carl, my husband here, to see the whole new throne room. It's finally done. Yes. But mind you, I'm pretty certain our queen wouldn't want people mucking about, getting the floors dirty. So, alright, well, I haven't been outside lately, so I would like to see this. And yeah, as would I. It's been quite noisy, and now all of a sudden it's quiet. Well then, follow us. Yes, and try not to walk too loudly. You might stir up enough noise just from walking. Don't worry, you'll see soon enough. So they enter into the doors, and lo and behold, a sight never seen before. There is a shimmer on the floor, which reflects almost like that of a glass or mirror. The throne room seems to be, for some unknown reason, although it could be an optical illusion, to be longer, much grander, and bigger. The floors looked like as if they were polished like glass. And as they took a step, Sam could hear the steps almost echoing. King Carl just merely looks over at Sam. Sorry, I'm not trying to walk loudly. That's okay. It's not like you're walking on eggshells. Might as well just get used to it. So as they continue on their way, it's as if the scene slightly changes, then of course, and they get closer to the throne. Wow, this is amazing. You think so? I don't know, I don't think it looks hideous like the last one. Well, you'll want to keep your opinion to yourself, because this is what the throne will be for Queen Daenerys to sit in. Yes, okay. So, we had a little trouble, because we wanted it to be royal majestic. We had to put up some special stone-like framework to hold up the dark velvet burgundy drapery, because you had a bit more space than people actually counted on, even though it didn't look it from when the last Iron Throne was up. So from that, unfortunately, most of the window at the lower part got covered. But then we thought how intriguing it would be for a throne to have its own crown. That's why you see the spiked blades up above. Her large emblem of Targaryen is held up by two spears, and golden laden forks, like that of a merman, the king of mermaids, if you believe such things. I personally don't. We know of the drowned god, but we have no knowledge of mermaids. But in any case, that was a design that the Red Priestess, Kinvara, wanted. Well, looks like you got a lot of work into it. Yes, and if you see that Red Priestess, tell her I don't think I was paid enough. Because you know how much work this had to go into? It's not like we were hanging dragon heads or anything. We had to put these large stone-like dragons, granted they have a path, to the throne that sits up above on all these swords. So how was it that all this was gathered together? Believe me, it wasn't easy. Swords from long ago are hard to come by, especially since Drogon melted the last of them. In any case, it'll be kind of quite the climb for our queen, but she will sit up on high. That's quite a few steps, wouldn't it? By my count, not counting the base where the original one sat, I count 10 steps higher than the last. I see. Well, I don't know if I'll ever get to see her sit in it, but It is interesting, and we seem to be drawing a crowd. Yes, many people have wanted to see it firsthand, and since they don't seem to pose any threat to the new Iron Throne of Swords, I see no issue there. Besides, if they aren't supposed to be here, then it's up to the King's Guard to have them leave. I, for one, am done. Thank goodness for that. I'm getting tired of this place already. Yes, yes, Carl, we know you do not like King's Landing. Well then, I guess as you're taking your leave, we are going to stop off for some pleasures, and Carl's just going to have to get used to the idea if he's going to continue being my husband, because, as I said, he's going to have to learn that you can still enjoy the many pleasures that there is to have, and still be my husband and king. Yes, well, we're not going to go over that again, are we? Not if we can help it. So, with that funny comment made by Gilly, Sam doesn't say another word on that issue. So, I bid you farewell. And hopefully, as I said, if you do see Kinvara, I think personally she owes me a lot more than what she paid me. A lot more. Granted, you may have removed the molten metal from the last Iron Throne, but it took forever to polish these floors to make them look as sheer and shining as you see them. I will pass the word if I see her. Thank you. And so with that, they both bow and leave the throne room as Queen Yara and her husband, King Carl, take one final look before departing themselves. Back in the Reach, as the dead are being collected by both House Tyrell, House Martell, and what few from House Frey, as well as those who took up residence in House Blackfyre, are being collected. The tent has been pitched by Queen Arrianne Martell as a contribution for those who are injured until they are well enough to travel. Queen Arrianne, I presume. Yes, you must be Queen Daenerys. I hear you are a warrior queen, and, well, from the look of it, I would imagine this is true. Yes. So, I hear you are contributing your royal tent for those who are injured until they are well enough to travel. Yes. I, of course, have to return to my kingdom soon, because I made a promise to Prince Aegon VI Targaryen's princess wife. Something that I believe benefits the whole realm of the kingdoms. One who was a sister and wife and queen to Aegon the Conqueror from long, long ago. I believe Queen Rhaenys should possibly maybe sound familiar. Yes, but she crashed in Martell and was never found. That is true, but there are certain areas that a lot of people do not know about, and I had a feeling that they had not yet been explored. We have special equipment so that no one gets stung by the manticore in the pit of punishment for those who are sentenced to such a place, and thus no one would dare to go down and mess with this long-lost queen, sister to King Aegon the Conqueror. I promise that she should be delivered so that she can be no longer lost, but laid below the Red Keeps, next to Aegon the Conqueror, where she should have been laid long ago. I would only ask that you forgive me that this was not done, though I was not born yet. What is there to forgive? It is not your fault that your ancestors acted so unruly and in an undignified manner. I do not hold this against you. But if you have made this promise, I would greatly welcome the return of Queen Rhaenys, and she shall be given her proper rest next to Aegon the Conqueror's crypt. Thank you, Your Grace. I, too, have a couple more arrangements I need to make before I take off on my dragon. And the Unsullied warriors, of course, as I do not see any more dangers here, will be returning shortly after I take off as well to Dragonstone. I have to make arrangements for 2 other funeral rites. One to someone by the name of Lord Edric Baratheon. Kind of thinks for a moment. I believe my nephew, Prince Aegon VI Targaryen, removed his bastardy as he was formerly known as Storm. Yes, and he actually removed the bastardy from my long-lost love, who is now my husband and king. Very good, then. I had done the same for Lord Gendry during the White Walker War. The other, of course, is for my nephew. I have to meet his last wish, for which Lilith, the flame goddess, had told me about, and I will make sure that wish is carried out, though it has never been done before. A Baratheon below in the crypts where Targaryens are laid to rest. But because they were best friends, so I've been told, and this has been documented in a scroll when Prince Aegon VI apparently had conversation with my palace visionary, I shall take great pleasure in reading these notes as to what type of person my nephew was. Long since I thought he was killed, but the one who acted treacherously, who I had burnt by Drogon, Lord Varys, must apparently did something right. Although he was not able to save the sister, he did save my nephew, and yet Lord Tywin Lannister was not smart enough to realize that by having the Mountain Who Rides kill my eldest brother Rhaegar and his wife and the children, made it to the point where he was unrecognizable. In any case, that is where I must go now. Well, it is an honor seeing you, and I shall continue having Darkstar, the Lord here, in charge of making sure that those who are injured are getting their treatment while I return to my kingdom. Very well then. I shall see you again when you return with Queen Rhaenys Targaryen, the Conqueror's sister, second wife, and queen's body. So with that, Queen Daenerys then mounts her white dragon and flies off. Grey Worm, who doesn't say a whole lot, just merely gives a signal, and the Unsullied warriors march to the direction so that they can sail across to Dragonstone. Well, I too feel that I must depart. I do thank you for caring for the wounded of Martells. Yes, well, it's the least I can do, as we take care of our own also. It is a pity that war would be so costly. Yes, and considering the fact that we already had one war with the White Walkers, I would imagine that House Frey is going to have a lot to answer for, considering one who meddled and woke this thing up. Well, I have heard that the one who did this may be an outcast of his own house. Apparently that could be justice in itself. Yes, I suppose so. So with that then, Queen Marjorie and Queen Arianne then exchange farewell greetings, or salutations to each other, and so the rest of Martells, with what wounded are able to travel, head back towards the House of Highgarden. From a distance, Arya Stark, along with the nomad prince and his bodyguard and a few men, are finally make their way. What in the seven hells happened here? Well, I see a girl once who had no name, and now yet has a name, finally returns from her destiny of exploration. I would not mention the seven hells too loudly, for we have actually seen it from a distance, and what you see here is the after effects. I shall explain everything to you, but there are two tasks that you are going to be appointed, for my time here in this world is soon to come to an end, as I am to ascend to the Valerian Heavens of Paradise in the spirit world. That too shall be explained. Then, that becomes the end of the scene, as it now is getting nightfall, and goes to House Blackfyre. The princess, caring for her little one that was born, gets approached by Lady Lord Meleys II. Your Grace, I have some news that may be a bit distressing. Lilith then finally makes her appearance. You may wish to sit down, Your Grace. This does not sound good. Has my husband... That is, I guess he has. He has fallen in battle. For having removed her helmet and most of her heavy armor, Lady Lord Meleys then kneels. Prince Aegon the Sixth Targaryen has given me command of what remains of our forces. You may stand. And that very well, then. I suppose this means that you will be my closest guard at this point. Yes, Your Grace. And I, by my sword, will swear my sword and my protection to you during this troubled time of grief for which is about to befall you. She then looks over at Lilith. And what of my husband? He is going to be delivered to be cleaned up. His last wish was that he should be laid below the Red Keep in the crypts. And he regrets not being able to see the child for which you were to bear. He said if it was a boy, that it should be Rhaegar II, but if a girl, should be named Rhaenys II. It is indeed a sad day that he could not see once the child for which I have borne, and it is a boy. So shall his name be, Prince Rhaegar II Targaryen. And so with that, Lilith and the princess merely look at each other, and thus ends the scene for this episode.